We've made it to the end of the month, and outside of an indie highlights in Europe, Nintendo hasn't made much of a peep. But as we look ahead to February and beyond, we of course have new game announcements coming from all over the internet, and that's why this week we're bringing you 6 brand new Switch games, no release date updates, but one that is a confirmation of a really cool leak.
Zach, it is hard to imagine that one of these months has already flown by. It feels like just yesterday that it was New Year's. Still a lot of games to talk about here today.
This week's episode is brought to you by Carnival Games, available now for Nintendo Switch both physically and digitally. Now look, at first blush, I know that many of you would say this game isn't for the hardcore, and frankly, you wouldn't be wrong. But where Carnival Games is entertaining is as a vehicle to bring together and involve non-gamers and family members. It brings me back to the Wii era when I could get my mom, my girlfriend, my grandparents, pretty much anybody to enjoy and play Wii Sports, Wii Play, Carnival Games. It's just goofy, organic fun. It's not something to take super seriously, it's not super hard, it's just a relaxing evening with your family and with the Switch. There are 20 games in this package, including basketball shooting, skee-ball, a haunted house light gun game, drone racing, and even cosmic bowling. So there's a lot of variety, and they can be played with traditional controls or with motion. Up to 4 players can get in on the action, each with a single Joy-Con, and customize their character as they win tickets and unlock new outfits and games. So for me and Raven, we were tired of the traditional lineup of multiplayer Switch games that we've been playing, and we wanted something new and something that didn't require a ton of thought, and that's where Carnival Games came in and gave us a really enjoyable night. We played through a bunch of the minigames, both traditionally and motion control, and it did harken back to an era when things were a little more lighthearted and just for the fun of it. And if you've played Carnival Games before, the Switch version brings aboard brand new minigames to breathe fresh life into the cartridge. I like the fact that you can bring this with you to a family gathering, to a party, whoever is there, they'll be able to play Carnival Games and hopefully they'll have some fun. The game is available now on Nintendo Switch, and if you want to see more information, check out the link in the description below. Alrighty then, let's kick it off with Darksiders War Mastered Edition, which popped up a few days back. People thought, would this come to the console? There was activity on their Twitter feed a while ago, and it just makes a lot of sense given that these games were on Wii U, they are on other platforms, 3 just came out, and now we're getting the War Mastered edition of Darksiders hitting on April the 2nd. It's going to be $30, which is a $10 price increase over its current price on Steam, but hey, at least it's half of a regular retail release, and it is a very good game that sits nicely alongside Nintendo's Zelda.
Yes, it gets a lot of comparisons to Zelda for a fair reason. It is structured very similar. And I actually really like Darksiders, the first one. And that is what they're porting over here. I love the price, Zach. I think $30 is totally fair for this game. And I am glad that they are not charging way more, because we've seen that happen with Nintendo and other publishers. So good that there's no Switch tax. And I might actually play this on Switch one more time, because I love this game. I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, playing it portably I think would be a lot of fun. It does show a bit of its age in terms of graphics. I played through a good chunk of it recently, and just overall it's a little bit more plotting than you might come to expect from a 2019 title, but still a very quality experience. Back then they called it the mature Zelda, and it is really fun. I think if this does okay, we'll eventually get Darksiders 2. I don't know about 3, which is what people were kind of clamoring for on Switch. But hey, it's a start, it's a pretty sweet game, and it is a port that seems to have a solid price, as well as a pretty darn quality pedigree. Let's go to something totally different. Vectra Namgabe. It's a psychedelic, rhythm-based puzzle game coming to Switch in spring. It has a challenging single-player campaign with all sorts of original electronic beats and colorful dynamic art. It looks very, very interesting. You can use dance pads on this, which is beyond insane to me. I don't even know how that works with a Nintendo Switch, but there's also multiplayer and a level editor, and you can create your own soundtrack if you hook up an analog synthesizer.
I'm guessing it's all just done through USB on the dock. I mean, that's what I would guess. Zach, it's time to pull out your Dance Dance Revolution pads from back in the day. Did you ever have those?
Oh, I did. I had the, not like a hard mat, but like the soft mats. I was pretty decent at it. It was like a good exercise workout. It actually was. When I was very young, I played on the Nintendo Power Pad, which was the thing that you would run on for like track and field with the NES, and that was not very great, but it definitely worked up a huge sweat. So DDR was like the continuation of that for me. Maybe it all comes full circle here, but I like rhythm games. I am pulling for Rhythm Heaven to one day rear its head on a Nintendo Switch. I think WarioWare and Rhythm Heaven would be two really fun fits, again, to take portably like we were talking about with Darksiders. But in the meantime, this looks like it may be worth checking out. No specific date or price yet, but coming in the next couple of months.
You can be your own musician here. They allow you to hook up MIDI pads and things like that. It's definitely an interesting one.
All right, Gabe, are you going to answer the call of war, and not the War Mastered call, but the Warhammer call, Age of Sigmar Champions, coming to Switch with cross-play included? This is a collectible card game. I feel like that has been sort of the new splurge for developers on Switch. Free-to-play kind of took charge last year as we saw Fortnite and Paladins and things of that sort, Warframe, and now it seems like card games are the way to go. We had like Lightseekers, we're still waiting on ESL, but Warhammer Champions is making its way to the console. Sometime in Q1, there will be crossplay. Steam version is hitting in February, and apparently the game has sold 20 million physical cards, and over 1 million digital matches have been played.
That sounds successful. The thing about those physical cards that like it can be a little like off-putting. I don't know if they're like how many cards are coming in a pack and stuff like that. Like, who knows? But Zach, I think I'm sort of. I've had my max of card games because how many can you possibly know all the rules for, right? That's a little tricky if you play a little bit too many of them.
Yeah, and just to clarify, this is a very successful game already that now they are putting on Switch, so you can scan your physical cards in so that you have them digitally, if that wasn't clear. I'm just waiting for Slay the Spire. That is the card game that I want. I want to Slay the Spire on Switch, again, portably. This kind of is the MO of this week. I thought we would get it in that indie highlights, but they didn't even mention it. So I'm not sure when it'll come. Hopefully around the same time as this Warhammer title, again, which should be launching before the end of Q1. All right, let's go to Iron Cryptical, which is a Smash TV / Ghost and Goblins inspired arcade title to Nintendo Switch. It is coming on the 13th of February. You can pre-order it now, and it definitely looks very arcadey. In the game, the glorious royal treasures of Kryptonia have been stolen, and now the king's washed-up knights must suit up and descend into the ancient palace crypts to return all of those golden goodies. Players must grab loot and gobble up food to build up their XP, upgrading their abilities to help face the challenges presented by the lower floors. It is a twin-stick dungeon shooter, obviously with all that arcade action.
Yeah, young Gabe would have loved this. While young Gabe's mom was out buying groceries, young Gabe would have stayed in the front of the store where the arcade machines were, and I would have probably spent a whole bunch of quarters on this. It looks cool. I haven't played arcade similar type games in a while. I don't know that I'll even check this one out, but it looks interesting.
4-player local co-op. Again, it's coming on February 13th for $10. 10% pre-order discount brings it down to $9. And like we said, it launches on February the 13th for $9.99. If you pre-order, it bumps it down to $8.99. Next up, we've got Shea, which sounds a little like touche, but this game actually looks really neat. It is a hand-drawn beat-em-up on Kickstarter, but it has a quality and a charm about it that elicits a mention. It is a tale of bravery and courage, following the journey of 4 main characters, so you can choose one of those as your player. Each has their own fighting style, different skills to unlock, and you can play co-op amongst those 4 characters. There are 4 procedurally generated worlds that make every playthrough unique, which I think is pretty cool for a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and they definitely have epic bosses. They did release, Gabe, a standalone like version of sort of like a concept idea called Shea Arena, which is going to sort of help give a basic understanding of what the final product will be like. You can grab that on Steam right now, but eventually this is supposed to hit Switch by the end of the year.
I do really dig the art style here. I might check out the Steam one just to see what it's like, but it's not coming until the 4th quarter, so we have some time for this one. Kickstarter games now, Zach. I no longer just toss them aside like I used to, because so many games that I liked, I didn't know that some of these like cooler games came from Kickstarter on Switch lately. It's been a recurring theme, so I'm going to pay attention to this one.
I mean, I thought you were going to say the opposite, but I do feel like it kind of like ebbs and flows. Like people are super sick of Kickstarter. People are super intrigued by Kickstarter. Right now, it kind of just sits in the background. You're right. Like a game will come out, and sometimes I'm not even aware that it started as a Kickstarter project. This one does have a little bit of uniqueness, given that it's based on Peruvian myths and takes place in a magical Amazon jungle with, again, a really gorgeous art style. So 1 to earmark. You can go check out the Kickstarter page if you'd like and follow their progress. Hopefully it comes out on schedule. Our last title for today is The King's Bird, which is pretty important bird, Gabe, if I have to say so myself. The game, though, is coming to Switch on February 12th. It'll be $19.99, and it is a, guess what, side-scrolling platformer with very seamless, fluid gameplay, both on the ground and on the air, because birds, they need to go places.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, this one actually like looks kind of cool. Some of the gameplay, you need to be like really precise with the flying around and the momentum of it all. Look, guys, we're gonna be honest with you. We feel the same way you feel about a lot of these games, that they're maybe not exactly what we want on the Switch. We would like some bigger experiences. Why is everything side scroller? We feel you. We're there with you. I know we don't talk about that a lot, but we are. But this one kind of looks different and unique. It gives me some Ori and the Blind Forest mixed with
That's
Celeste.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, a little bit mixed with Celeste. It's not going to do any of the story stuff that Celeste does, probably. But, I don't know. If I'm going to play any side-scroller that we showed this week, it's going to be this one.
Indeed. And for me, it's just, there is often a dearth of other genres, and that's what makes it like, it's not that these games are bad, necessarily. I mean, some of them are, but it's more that like we just want more variety. And I guess Darksiders War Mastered for today's video does give you that variety. We go from a Zelda-alike that has a really solid history to a card game, a rhythm title where you can connect dance pads, a 4-player arcade brawler. You got this side-scrolling, hand-drawn Kickstarter project, and now The King's Bird. So within the sphere of what we got going on, decent variety, but we feel ya, and we're hoping that a direct does come soon. We made it all the way through January without one. When will it arrive? Hopefully in the near future. In the meantime, though, let us know which of these games you are most excited for in the comments down below. Gabe is giving his coin to The King's Bird and Darksiders, I guess. Can't forget that one. I'm all in on Darksiders War Mastered. Playing that portably should be fun.
Yeah, King's Bird looks like really, really cool. I didn't know about the game until just now when we mentioned it, so hey, I'm with it.
Let us know which one you're into in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from the Switch. We've got you covered each and every week with what is announced for the platform and plenty more. In the meantime, everybody have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Myself and Gabe, SwitchForce, out.